Hey guys, so today what I want to talk about is why is starting a accounting and bookkeeping business so hard for beginners. I want to kind of give you some key factors and then also some loose solutions for those factors. So there's a number of different reasons. Number one is really about like lack of confidence and lack of investment in yourself. So when I think of lack of investment in ourselves, it's really the skill sets that are needed for you to be successful in a lot of cases are very different than what most people think they are. So for example, the number one skill set you're going to have when you're starting an accounting or bookkeeping business is going to be your sales skills. Now, sales can look a lot of different like areas in a lot of different ways, right? It can be how do you communicate the value of what you're offering to someone else? That's number one. Sales can also be how do you get a referral partner to give you more clients or referrals? How do you get someone who is maybe a current client to want to pay you more money or even let you offer them more services? When you're able to really understand that, you're able to grow your business so much faster. But by not really either investing in themselves or by really not really addressing like confidence or skill set issues, it causes us to really have trouble and like really like slow down and like limit your growth. Yeah, and we can definitely talk more about that. Also, if you ever want some help growing your business, like we do have our mentorship program open for enrollment. So we have a couple more spots open. We generally take no more than about 10 people per month, just to kind of keep it very, very lean and very, very effective for working with like the clients that we work with the best. So let's jump into this thing. So we already kind of touched on like sales challenges. So that's again number one. Now the hardest thing too is that if your sales skills are not good, you're generally going to, it has a correlation with your marketing. So the only people you're really going to be speaking to are like very low ticket clients that want discount, don't want to pay you the full amount, only care about how much the price is. They don't care about anything else outside of how much they cost. I don't care about this, how much they cost. And that can lead to so much burnout, right? Because it's like, well, you're trying to improve your sales skills. You're not getting people to want to work with you. Everyone's saying your price is too expensive. And it just causes you just burn out and just feel super, super discouraged very, very quickly. The next thing is going to be, and actually, I'll give you an even a better example of that. So I'll give you an example of one of our students. So her name was Joanne, and when she came to me, she was really struggling because a lot of her clients were very, very like low dollar. Like she had some for like $100, $150, $200 per month, right? And like I think it was like 10 clients, and she was doing like $830 a month from those 10 clients. That's not a lot of money. Like not to say that like she's a bad person. It's just, when you're talking to these like really, really cheap guys, it's very hard. She was trying to take the business full time, but I mean, with only making $830 a month, it's very hard to do. So the first thing we had to do was when she started working was we gave her better quality sales script. We also worked on her mentality around sales, right? Because in a lot of cases, if you don't know that people should be paying you the amounts of money you're asking for, it's very hard for you to feel confident asking those amounts of money, and that will lead to you not really going after what you want, just really not pursuing the opportunities that are available and are in front of you. So that's number one. So once she started doing that, she got to about, not only did she get to $10,000 per month, she collected $103,000 in the first like 9 months of us working together. So it was extremely good. So to go from like $800 a month, what is that, $8,000, $9,000 a year, to $100,000 collected. So that's not like revenue. That's how much hit her bank account. Okay, it all comes from starting with understanding sales and learning how to invest in yourself. And like she had never really invested in herself up until that point, until she invested in our mentorship program. Once she had that, then she had not only the belief that, hey, if I'm willing to pay for myself, other people should be willing to pay for my service as well. But now she had the skill set, so she gets both of those, like the best of both worlds. Now, next thing, most beginner business owners struggle because they have limited marketing channels. So successful bookkeeping business oftentimes use like multiple lead generation channels. So that could be social media, partnership, paid advertising, whereas beginners usually rely on like one or two, which are either very inconsistent or just like they're generally the ones that people are most comfortable with. Now, you would think, like, Bryce, shouldn't I be using the thing I'm most comfortable with? And, like, yes and no. Oftentimes what people are most comfortable with are consumer-based social media apps. So that's things like, we'll say, like Facebook or like Instagram. But in a lot of cases, it's very hard to make those work for most individuals. So instead, what you should be focusing your time on are business sources that business owners use, and there is a learning curve to master, right? The reason why is because like where there's challenges, there are generally opportunities. If there's no challenge, because there's no opportunity, there's no competition, no one else is doing the same thing you're doing, it probably isn't a very high, income opportunity. Just being completely honest with you, right? It's like, so learn the stuff that's hard. Like the reason why LinkedIn works so well is because no one knows how to use it. So all it is like business owners are like this captive audience. We can tell exactly what business owner actually can use your help and how much money they can afford to pay, and if they even have someone just doing accounting or bookkeeping in their business. From there, you're like one of the only 2 or 3 people that are actually reaching out to them to talk about accounting. So it's like they have this just giant just opportunity circle where there's no competition that knows what they're doing, and the people who you're targeting are already on there. They're a captive audience. It's like, yeah, of course you need to learn how to use that and attack. Now, once you're able to get 1, okay, now you need to add 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, right? Ideally, you would have 4 main platforms. So you'd have 3 that are able to be utilized at all times, and 1 where you can turn on and off, depending on if you want more clients, if you want to move fast. So, for example, LinkedIn is the one that I would turn on and off. Another one would be like referral partnerships. Another one might be like email marketing. Another one might be, we'll say Google My Business, right? But I basically want to have some things that are very they're very passive ways to generate leads, and then one that's very active, right, which would be like LinkedIn. And that way, it's like if LinkedIn goes down, or if my email goes down, or if my Google My Business goes down, I still have 2 to 3 other things that are bringing me clients consistently, so I don't have to worry about anything. Next thing, a lot of unsuccessful bookkeepers are doing networking events. There's nothing wrong with networking events. They can be good, but they're generally, if you are not in a rush to get clients, because the time frame with which a networking event can give you clients can vary. I've seen some people can get a client from networking on day 1. I've seen a majority of people get clients on day 6 months. 6 months into the networking event, they finally get a client or a referral. And again, there's a time and place for it. It's like when you're trying to diversify, and you already have one that's giving you leads, another that's giving you leads, and you have 2 other that are just kind of like this tertiary lead source where it gives you some leads every once in a while. That is really generally a good thing. But if you're starting out doing networking events while you have a full-time job, it's generally not going to cut it, because the time frame that you're going to spend driving and attending those meetings could be better used someplace else, more of an online strategy, especially if you have a full-time job. If you don't have a full-time job, you have a bunch of time, okay, a little different. But assuming that, you're working a full-time job, it's not the best use of, the limited stuff that you have available. Cool. Next thing, need for system and automation. So, you have to know what is important to automate versus what's not important to automate, right? So, beginners oftentimes use automations where they should be doing things manually, and they go manual where they should be using automations. So for example, when it comes to marketing, in the beginning, maybe the first 2 weeks that you're in business, okay, you do the manual stuff, so use LinkedIn, etc. But then as soon as possible, as soon as you get a good grasp or a good feel, you want to automate those social media platforms as much as possible, right? That way you can keep having these conversations kind of come. It's the way that my social media works is that I literally will go into, let's say I'm going to do my school group, right? So that's an online community where clients basically come in, and potential clients come in and ask me questions and stuff. I come in 36 different messages I have. So from there, those 36, I can then go and choose who do I want to work with, who do I not want to work with, right? But that's automation, right? So it's I just have to look through it and just go into it. Versus most people, they're going to be manually hunting, and it's tough. But then they're going to go and do some automations around they want to do a million workflows, they want to automate their onboarding process, just everything wants to be onboarded within the business, right? Within the actual client delivery. And when I say client delivery, it's doing the client work, right? But it's like you need to do the opposite. The client delivers the stuff that in the beginning should be like handheld, right? Now I'm not saying you do this forever, but if you've never worked with a client before, how do you know what the onboarding should even be like? How do you know what the client services should be like? How do you really know? Like if you worked for an accounting firm, a little different, but even then, I would first figure out the marketing, then do the automation second. Okay? Because if you spend too much time on the automations, it just takes you way too long to get a client. And the biggest thing that a beginner faces as well is, remember we talked about earlier, the confidence thing. If too much time goes by and you haven't gotten a client, most people's confidence begins to wane, and that's the thing that causes them to like really quit. It's not about a lack of money. It's not really about anything outside of they just like give up because it's too hard or it's just not working the way that they thought. And it's not that it's not working. You just haven't been able to go and expand your circle of influence to enough people to start actually making consistent, income from it. So do the stuff that's supposed to be manual, like do that manually. Do the stuff that's supposed to be automated, do it in an automated fashion. I do a reverse. I like automating the marketing, and I like being very hands-on when it comes to like the actual like clients. In the beginning, over time, when you get too many clients where you just can't handle them all by yourself, we said too much client work, we talk about workflows and automations. But that should not really happen for a while. And there's something you might never automate. Like I don't automate my onboarding process. I literally, as soon as someone like signs their invoice, I will send them email 1, email 2. I send them a DocuSign. They haven't already sent it for the engagement letter. I then schedule like the onboarding call manually. I'll either send them like a booking link, or I'll just like coordinate via text message. Then on that call, I have like an organized like PowerPoint that'll generally take people through. So it's not automated, but it takes me like 3 minutes to do. It's like I can afford to take 3 minutes to go and do this. And like when I do it manually, I make sure they get everything, right? Because sometimes with automations can break down. That's why I don't like doing a lot of automations with client work, because they can break down. And when they break down, if you're not checking it, then you start having bad work being put out. And especially something as like important as onboarding, you don't want that to be malfunctioned. Cool. Mm-hmm. Next thing, so some solutions to overcome these challenges. Number 1, build self-confidence by building your skill sets by doing mentorship programs. Like, I would just invite you to go ahead and check out our mentorship program. There's a link inside the description. Go see if it can be an effective thing for you. Next, learn effective sales and communication techniques. Okay, the better you get at communicating, whether it's asking for money or ask for opportunities to get money or getting like partners to work with you, the better you are at being persuasive, the more money you're going to make just naturally. Just a byproduct, okay? The better you're going to be in your personal life and your professional life. Being able to handle interpersonal communication. Just the most amazing skill set to learn. Next thing, diversify your marketing approach. Okay, so remember, having one main channel in the beginning is good, but as soon as you start finding that, you want to really diversify to 3 to 4 channels as much as possible. You want 3 passive, 1 active. Next thing, develop partnerships. So that's getting as many people who want to refer you clients as possible, and really making sure that the marketing you're doing meets the amount of time that you either are expecting for this stuff to take or the time constraints you have with your work. Next thing, gradually implement automation for scalability. So like we said, keep the stuff that should be automated. The stuff that should not be automated or is very important to your business, keep that manual. Just make sure it's as an efficient manual process as possible. Okay? If you can do that, then you will not have to face most of the challenges that cause most beginner bookkeepers to fail. Okay? So, I'd love to see you inside the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you and your support. If you have any questions, put them inside the comments below, and I'd love to answer them as much as I can. Okay? I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good one.